Bow, boop, bop, bop, shabba-da-bee-bee. Oh, that's right. It is Karandrin role playing. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Correct Palantir. I will be your host and game master tonight for this episode 52 of Brise's Tale. And as always, my good buddy Max is here to play Brise the Paladin in her struggle against the sorceress Verilag. Max and Brise, say hello to the lovely people.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a good night. Yeah, get ready for some Karandrin goodness. Trying to read
Right.
through what I'm doing last time here. Yeah, last session was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff that happened.
We apologize for being a couple minutes late getting on. We had a camera problem.
That's right. Yeah.
We barely resolved. Otherwise, I'd be very laggy and messed up looking, more so than I usually am.
Worse than usual.
So episode 52. Last time, episode 51. We had you basically summoning help for Batherin, the goblin apprentice, who had exhausted herself casting magic after you guys basically stole the sorceress Verilag's two main spell books that seem to deal with the demon Crown.
Right.
Now you've perused the spell books. You've realized that they contain a great deal more information than they should, because they're actually tomes of holding. So there's multiple volumes. The book just goes on and on and on until some end point. We also found out that there's a level 75 spell. Rollmaster typically goes to level 50 in the spells that they do. But this is, some of the most advanced magic probably on the planet. And clearly these are some of the spells that deal with draining the demon Kralum of his power and then giving it to Verilag. Just a reminder, Kralum is not just any demon. He would be the highest form of demon known to exist, one that rules a whole world.
The best demon.
The best demon, really. The Lamborghini of demons. Or since it's a demon, a Lamborghini.
Lamborghini.
So, Verilag is this ancient sorceress, I should say, who trapped him some 5,000 years ago before she herself was imprisoned. And now Brise is entangled with her, and she is attempting to return herself to power. And
made quite good headway too in doing so.
Yes, she's moving right along, making connections, and so on. So
that's a good one, Obi-Wan Karen, Lucifer-esque.
Yes. So that's where we are. Brise had attempted to teleport with the books to this rural location where his colleagues are awaiting him, and Adabir and his colleagues are there. And but he misaimed the spell. You have to hold the location in your mind as you cast it, and he teleported to a different area. But Brise herself is pretty exhausted. So
we're going to start off just taking it nice and easy, maybe resting under a tree or for 30 minutes or so.
Right.
Get my energy.
Roll for me.
Roll 11.
Roll again for me.
Okay. 88. Rolling palindromes this.
You actually doze for a little bit.
Okay.
So you regain 50 exhaustion.
Nice. Oh, but remember, it was late evening. Yeah, I mean, hopefully I don't doze too long, right? when I wake up, what does everything look like?
Well, it's hard to tell time at night without a.
So it's still night. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. But you feel a lot better.
Okay.
So your hope is that they're still present at the nearby field in the valley.
Right.
So
All right, then let's give that teleport one more try. Check quick. Yeah, I can use my channeling helm. Got that back. Try to teleport to the field where Adabir and the others are waiting for me. So,
right.
I'm gonna roll that up. 54.
All right, and then roll to aim.
And aim is a 66.
No problem. You appear in the tent. Roll for me.
89.
They're not fools. They set it up exactly.
Mm.
And this, you're like, I remember that little hillock of, this little mound of grass that was in the tent. I remember how it, you're like, they put it, by the tent pegs. They put it exactly back so that it would be a reliable teleport spot for you.
Right.
So Adabir is in the tent, and he yells when you appear, and holds his chest and is breathing heavily.
Give this poor man a heart attack.
That's right. He's was clearly resting himself. It's pretty late for him, so he's on a heavily cushioned sort of cot. He's there's a little bit of a chill in the air up here in the mountains, and so he's bundled up and stuff, and
Right.
he says we'd almost given you up.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit more complex than we expected, but it was successful with a small caveat.
Where is your companion?
She overexerted herself, creating the illusion to replace the tomes, and she's now resting at the Eternal Lantern in town with two men from the keep watching over her, two healers tending to her. So I think she'll be okay, but definitely out of commission for a couple days, maybe.
Doshrik appears and sticks his head in, as do a couple of guards.
Mm-hmm.
They're clearly alarmed at Adabir's cry when you appeared.
It's just me, everybody. They're like, oh, it's her again.
Adabir sort of makes a little nod to the guards. Adabir says, I have summoned him here using my her here, using my magical arts. It's no reflection on your ability to protect us. Go, be gone. We have much to discuss. Doshrik steps in Asks about Batherin. You guys explain.
Mm.
Doshrik just comes in, just basically kneels beside Adabir's cot. He gestures you to come closer. He says, I'm beginning to piece out who among the guards is in fact a spell user.
Mm.
At least one of those that stuck his head in is, and there's another guarding the horses. That's my suspicion. Adabir says, I know the ones you mean. Those are my choices as well. We'll have to be particularly careful around them. Aside from Batherin falling unconscious, everything else went fine?
Yes, everything went very well. We managed to secure the 2 tomes and create the illusion perfectly.
Excellent. We will study what we can and determine when to return them. And he extends his hands. Gimme.
Yeah, I will, and I'll just say that I, opened them myself, and nothing seemed to, no trigger seemed to be set off. So I think I'm safe at least to handle them.
You will have to open them again for me.
Right.
When we return to my chambers. And thereafter, so long as I don't absent-mindedly close them.
What if you just have the book and then you have like a long stick and just does that trigger?
That's the thing about the magic in Karandrin is it can always be defeated by a long stick.
Yeah,
so
by
long as
10
you've
foot
got
pole.
that, yeah, you've got it going on. So,
no, yes, I'll hand them over, and sounds it'll be good.
He, struggles with them, and you sort of help them into his lap, and he, pats them, and he's,
I'll also tell him about. Do I tell him about Fraldrum? I guess I don't. Oh yeah, well I should say I did stop by the keep, and I think it's best we get there quickly because there's there are still people are trying to poke around in your absence. It seems Fraldrum and some of the others.
Fraldrum has a good heart and certainly is a skilled practitioner, but she has long been the most reluctant member of Miagral's court to engage in this plan, even though we seek merely to extend her life. She does not care for that at all. I don't think we've tipped our hand or in any way exposed our actual purpose or methodology, but she's a sharp one.
Mm-hmm.
We will have to be more guarded than ever. Very well. Give orders for the tent to be struck. She says to Doshrik, and then turns to you and hands you back the tomes and asks you to put them in a particular chest.
Okay.
And then asks you to help and tells you, you can take off your gear and put it in that same chest.
Right.
And then you ask you to help him to the carriage.
Right.
So you do so.
Mm-hmm.
There's as you are headed to the carriage, a group of 4 of Negral's riders come up. They're they have loaded crossbows. They are looking for business. The guy guarding the horses, waves to them, gestures to them, and approaches. There's a conversation there as you help Adabir into the coach.
Mm-hmm.
He gestures to them. See what that's about. He's really nodding off. He's really tired.
Let's get you to bed, Grandpa.
Exactly. That's what, incidentally, if you're wondering what we talk about after the stream, Max just looks at me and shakes his head sadly and says, "Off to bed, Grandpa." And that's how it
That
ends.
was a good stream, wasn't it?
That's right. Do you want a mint? And yeah, he gets it's a very cushy, very well appointed coach, and he bundles up under the covers again and sort of props himself into a corner, and he says, "Wake me if you must, but find out what that's about." And
who do you order to find out?
What the 4 riders are doing here.
Oh, you ordered me or somebody
You.
else? Oh, what am I? Okay, whatever.
Put any noun there, and the answer is yes.
Daughter, wife. I'll okay.
Orangutan.
I'll go on over and check on what's going on. Say
the riders sort of split up and do a circle of the camp. Apparently, the guard for the horses, is approaching. He sees your questioning look, says to you in Goblin, "The wizards still haven't been found. The thought is that they may come to interfere with you here. Miagral thought more security might be a wise precaution."
Okay, could I do just roll thy gut feeling if that's why he's actually
always.
here? 77.
He certainly believes it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. It says, her protection is most thankful for her protection. Yeah.
Soldiers are coming in from the, where they position themselves around the open field and so on, and they're taking things out of the tent and packing them up and so on. And within an hour or so, the tent and possessions are, struck and packed. Doshrik rides in the wagon with the gear.
Nice.
He gestures for you to join him if you'd like.
Sure.
Offers a seat. So one of the goblins takes the traces of the reins, and for that wagon. So you guys are sitting 3 across the buckboard of the wagon, and off you guys go. Doshrik says, "Has anyone heard whether the eagles have departed the peaks around the keep?"
I tell them when I was there a few hours ago, they were still lingering about.
Goblin says eagles and spits on the road. Safe but late journey.
Then an eagle swoops down and
That's right. Eats the horses. So an uneventful journey.
Nice. Good.
You know, the guards help Adabir out unless there's a reason to delay. You know, everyone's going to go to bed.
Yeah.
Basically.
I just wanted to remember. I would have told Doshrik that that Batherin, we explain where Batherin is, and
Yes.
it was recommended that when she does wake up, it'd be good to have a familiar face there in case she needs to jog her memory. I don't know if one of us should be there, or maybe it's a good task for Tegrib.
But you can't say that in front of the guard, can you?
Oh, right. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
I mean, you can say one of us should be there to.
Yeah. I'll say.
And then maybe perhaps Tegrib, since he didn't have
Right.
this late night. Yeah.
Right. Word it that way.
Yeah. Discreetly. Fraldrum stands on the ramparts as you guys enter. He is at the ramparts above the gate. The eagles have departed.
Nice.
You guys, get up to your quarters. Things are unloaded and so on, and taken to various storage areas that have been set aside for you guys behind the house. To bed with you?
Yeah, it's pretty late. I am ready for bed, guys.
Yeah, so you just straight to bed, maybe tell Burlow that you have to be up before noon.
Right. That would be nice. Do have a habit of sleeping past important dates and send a courtesy wake up.
You go to your room. There's a note on the floor. The mark on the wax seal is from Aldrich. He tells you he's had a good day, and he's feeling better about his relationship with his boss. He was able to do some work to I forget if it's a male or female goblin.
If we decided.
But and so he feels like that's improving. Hopes to see you tomorrow. And proposes at least a meeting for supper. Just send him word back when you know.
Yeah. I'll make sure to do that in the morning.
And Kralum comes in.
It was a good day until it's a good smooth session. Everything's going right, and then Kralum shows up.
Was he aware of the plan? I forget. Was he aware that the plan was going down now? I don't think so, because it all kind of happened very quickly, didn't it?
Which plan? That to fetch
to steal the spell books.
Oh, I was there. We talked to him, and he's like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Because we're getting these books." He's like,
"Okay." Oh, of course, he was there.
Yeah.
I always think of Little Rat.
Yeah.
It's so weird that he's in two locations. Forget
Right,
it.
right. He's in many places at once. Um, when you get that old as a demon, you start to lose your memory a bit.
I can attest to that.
Didn't I just see you?
Exactly. I get deja vu. My giant form has never been to a goblin keep. What are you talking about?
Yeah, actually, the last time I saw him, he, what's her face, fainted, and then he
He
suggested,
had to advise you.
yeah, he like prick her, and may wake her up, and so he's probably wondering if it was successful or not.
What are you going to do with the short bow?
Right, it's my bag of holding. I plan to just keep it for now, on my person, in my bag of holding. Don't want to leave it around, for someone to actually pick up.
Well, you could tuck it under your bed and just leave the eyes out, and it could actually watch the door for you.
Oh, that's brilliant. I didn't even think about that. It's a great idea. Yeah, I have a little sentry and just.
Now, the thing is, though, if they find it, I guess they can't take it, but it would speak to them if they pick it up.
Right.
So.
Right. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's up to you. It's got some drawbacks.
I think I'll keep it on my person for now. I still want to
Okay.
learn more about it. And maybe we'll see if that idea works out.
Huh? You get my little pun there?
Yeah.
So, it does occur to you, like, as a living thing, should this bow be afforded certain courtesies, like not being kept in a bag overnight? Like, should you hang it in the room somewhere and then, I mean, it's weird. It's sort of a person. It's sort of,
right.
How much of his existence was spent laying on that pile.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, I could always ask it, so maybe I'll pull it out. So is Crown here or not? Did he not?
Crowlem is here.
Okay.
And just is checking in on you after having left.
So I'll speak with Crown, and then afterwards I'll take out the bow and.
He asked if you had any ill effects with the tomes.
I say no. Everything seemed to be fine. I managed to crack both of them open and read a little bit. They're now safely here at the keep. So.
Well, now we are getting somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to mention to him
about Fraldrum?
Yes.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. So I say that we do have another person who's kind of caught on to what's going on here. The wizard Fraldrum has already seen you walking around. I've convinced her that you're not a spy, but she knows you're no sort of familiar. And I'm to meet with her and discuss, basically persuade her, that you should be kept around. I don't know if there's a way you can be more, covert in what you're doing.
He says, clearly I have been careless. I have underestimated that mortal. And you want to tell him, too, that there are other defenses now on the keep? Do you recall that?
That's...
Fraldrum says that if he attempts to leave now, he will regret it.
Oh, well, you know what? It wasn't clear because she said that thinking he was a spy. Then I said that, no, it's not. So I guess it was kind of ambiguous. But yeah, just in case, let me say, I think she's putting more defenses on the keep. It might not be wise to come and go. You might want to stay here for the time being.
What can the little fool do to me? Sure, she has eyes in her head. It's caught me skulking about. Her arts can't stop me.
Rat poison! Oh no!
This is
Cheese.
peanut butter.
I have to eat the cheese. The
That's right.
poison cheese. Okay. I say, if you say so, I don't want.
I'm just relaying a message, buddy. It's
Yeah, exactly.
I want to smell fried rat later. He learned anything? He has not. All right. He tells you,
Get out of here.
given that you now have the spell books present, it might be wiser for him to hang around here in any event.
Right.
And so he says that he's going to try to stay in your room whenever possible for the next several days.
Well, okay. Sure. I don't know what to say in this, I guess. Well, I could suggest, maybe Adabir is the one with the tomes would be wiser to. He's the one who likes demons anyway. Near him.
Very well. I'll go there now. And off he scurries.
Your roommate you don't want.
Yeah.
Why don't you go stay over here?
Sleep on this futon, Ooh. So, take out the short bow.
Yeah. Pretty tired, but I'll definitely strike a brief conversation with our friend here. What was the Nareth? What's the name?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it in my notes.
Nalkarth. Nalkarth.
That's right.
Karth. I'll just grip it and say, a courteous hello. How do you do?
I am well and ready to slay.
Let's go. I tell him that I've brought you back to the, I guess to a keep, to where I'll be staying more permanently. Here you should be, I guess, safe, more comfortable, I imply, if you can call it that.
What I crave is to be of service. And certainly my former owner was not one worthy to serve. I hope you will prove to be. And toward that
man, I am not good with a short bow.
Toward that end,
Yeah.
you should know that we wish our bond to be stronger. Then killing an enemy with me will make it much more difficult for others to become my master.
Oh, interesting.
My goal is ever to serve in a righteous cause. Clearly, that woman earlier is not righteous. But you have some good in you, and it has been a long time since I've been of use.
Interesting. You told me before a brief summary of, your past. I guess, were you always bound to this bow? Do you remember a time when something else?
I had a long life. As a warrior in the kiln fields.
KILN.
Uh-huh. There fires burn night and day and give birth to unholy creatures that would raid our nations.
Wow.
And I was a warrior and aide-de-camp of a mighty general. But when unholy corruption struck my body, and I could not be saved, they placed me here in the bow meant for the general's son. On an expedition to this land, the general's son was struck, and I fell into a ravine, never to see one of my kind again.
I asked him a little bit about his kind and his world. How are they? Can you describe them like briefly? How are they different from us?
My face adorns the bow.
Oh, right.
So it's basically a black big cat of some sort.
Right. Okay. That's right. It was like a panther.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Now, maybe the material just happens to be black. It could be any color.
Cool.
Having my visage mark the bow was my only hesitation. And being placed here to serve. It is not the noblest brow. Still, it is the one that Hideki gave me, and it is the one that lived my life. You have no kiln fields here, I take it.
Not that I know of. Sounds like a bad time, if you ask me. I guess, yeah. I don't know if it's a phenomenon in other worlds besides yours.
I suppose you would have heard of them if they existed. In 15 years of war, we had purged half of them.
Wow.
But then I was struck down and serve now here.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
What was that? How's that?
That can be arranged. Let's. I mean, you're quite a. I would be honored to use you in service. It seems kind of like you said earlier, Kevin. I guess like it would be like it seems like the right thing to do to use him as he wants. He's like a noble warrior. Say, does it does it matter where I guess what would I say? It's unfortunately, I say unfortunately your appearance is so otherworldly. It does draw suspicion to you. Does it matter that you're kept out in the open, or
Matter in what way are you asking him?
to him, kind of like you saying, being courteous? It's like he's definitely my superior in terms of skill, right? Like, but he's bound to this bow. I have to carry him on me.
I hope that I have earned a place of distinction. But by the same token, you are my master, and I am to serve you until another takes me up.
Okay.
But you are the brightest light I have seen in terms of having a noble purpose and a good heart. You are female, which is unusual to have in the battlefield. Females rule where I come from. They do not fight.
Yeah, females do rule, don't they?
They rock.
Interesting. Where he comes from.
I self-identify as a shortbow. But if you must store me without use, then simply wrap me in oilcloth and keep me where you will.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think I do want to keep him obscured for now, just because of how little privacy I have here at the keep.
Sure. Although you could have him out at night, right? So long as you're there.
Right, theoretically.
And then
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, just take him out at night, watch the door, but then in the morning, wrap him up, put him in.
right.
Okay. Yeah, then I tell him that arrangement. Then it's like, well, I'll have you, I can have you out at night and standing guard for me if you wish, and then I'll take you with me in the morning.
That is agreeable.
Okay.
Roll for me.
77.
Have you asked him, had he overheard anything that Verilag may have said?
No. What I did say is like his, interactions with her was very little. So I will, ask him right now as a side thought. It's like, I already asked you about any conversations you had with the your last master. Did you overhear anything she also said, or observe her do anything from your spot there?
She spoke of trying to find a great expert in runes. She seems to be not of your area or time, because she complained to herself that she knew so little of who now would hold such expertise.
Rune makers these days, they don't know what they're doing.
That's right.
I see. Okay. And so I want to be careful not to tell him too much, because if someone picks him up,
Right.
asks him directly, then he has to respond. So I'll just, very nice.
All right.
Overheard. Era lag.
There are various tapestry hooks and things like that on the walls. You could hang him from one of those during
Sure.
the night, sort of a place of.
It is how they hang tapestries, don't they? They have preset hooks. Wow, I never thought about that.
I'm guessing,
There might be different ways, but yeah.
Yeah, you could. I could see them taking two boards, to sandwich the top of the tapestry, and then screw those down, or
it's kind of like curtains. You have the bar in place, and what curtain you choose to put up there can be
right.
changed. Yeah.
So, they obviously had to be very secure, because those tapestries are enormously heavy.
I don't want to get buried under one of those. Which wrote a note here. We'll assume that I take Narlkarth and store him with me in my bag of holding during the day, but set him out at night. A little reminder there.
All right. So we could have you go to bed, maybe roll up and get you to morning, and then we could take a break.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, let's do that. To sleep you go.
99. That was a lot. We had been the last day for about 4 sessions. Oh my gosh, it's been May 7th for like a month.
That's crazy.
Because I was meeting with what was Albane and like her superior in the morning, doing a bunch of stuff during the day, and then going to Crown prison at night. Long day. Yes, sleepy time for Brise.
All right, so roll it up.
We got a 16.
Okay.
We got a 99.
Okay, roll again and add it.
Plus 97.
Roll again and add it.
Plus 24.
220. And what was your last roll?
A 1.
All right.
Okay. Is that open to minus 84?
Minus 84. Roll again.
Okay. 10.
For the first time in as long as you can remember, you're sick.
Oh man. Well, actually, I was sick when I from the demon when I saw.
This doesn't feel unnatural.
Oh, this is just. Oh man. Crap. Okay.
You are really fatigued.
Wake up feeling, in parentheses, naturally sick.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're ill. But you got to push through your day. Man. You're not looking forward to, that casting spells is going to be harder because you're going to be out of it.
Yeah.
So really,
and, I can't remember, we discussed this before and I'd forgotten. Is there like, what's the general idea of like sickness in this culture? There's no belief like in transferring, you know, like, so would I like cancel appointments and stuff because of that? Stay away from people.
No, there's no real concept of contagion.
Right. Contagion.
Um,
So
um,
just go about the day being like, oh, well, gods must not like me today.
that's really more along the lines. There's not even really a concept that demons cause illness, although you can now say, well, there are certain types that absolutely do.
Yeah.
Certain types of illness and certain types of demons are connected. Um, but yeah, it just feels like this is the will of the gods, and you know, it was it was your turn, you know, and
Okay.
but yeah, -84, and then you rolled a 10 to resist the illness. So
Huh?
it's uh, you're definitely sick, and
Well, I think Brees caught it from me is the problem. Week
that's
ago.
that's it. Well, guys, we're gonna take a break and run for refresh our drinks and stuff, and so I hope you guys do the same. And we will be back in just a few moments, and we'll see what this next day holds. Hopefully, it'll go a little faster than 4 sessions to do one day. But man, what stuff we got done!
Yeah.
Um, so um, so thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. I am glad you stuck with us through the break. We appreciate that as always. And so we have a sick Brise waking up.
A real quick question for you. I have here Nalkarth has an ability that holder can see in the dark in pitch black and plus 25 rune to stalk hide. Does that mean I need to have like him in my hands, or is that just on me?
In your That's a good question. What would be I know what would be most useful. How would they have perceived it? Um,
Yeah, if there are people who fight like only with bows, maybe it literally is like they always have it on them or something.
the I think both would be if it's just on you.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, not really, but you would have to have it on you,
Right,
not
not in my bag of holding, but literally I take it out and strap it
right,
to my back, and then I get the.
right,
Okay. So I'll keep that in mind when I probably want to go adventuring. I'm just gonna do that, put them right on my back.
sure.
Ooh. He's like a set of eyes on the back of me too. No one can sneak up on me. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, being a roll master really gives you very severe penalties for being snuck up on. I mean, there's a plus 25 bonus
Mhm.
for surprise. There's a plus 20 additional bonus from behind,
Mhm.
and you lose all attempt to dodge. And so
Right.
so you lose your natural defensive bonus just from being quick and um, light on your feet. So yeah, for you especially when as you're realizing you're just sort of average in terms of your quickness. There's a lot of things out there just a lot faster than you.
Right.
Yeah, that could be really important. So
Nice. Okay. So you wake up feeling sick. Let's send Aldra, a note that just says, well, I mean, I guess if I feel up to it, maybe it could delay because I'm sick. I don't know.
well, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see him even if you were
Yeah, yeah. I
ill.
could say maybe we'll do something quick. Quick supper would be nice, but
Right.
feeling the best, so nothing fancy.
Um, and do you want to send for a, poultice for your chest?
Oh, sure, yeah, yeah, whatever. I mean, the keep has resources, so I'll definitely. I imagine I'm familiar with some remedies.
Right.
Whatever I do, that would feel
Well,
comfortable.
you're certainly you know that they exist, right? They're always brought to you, and you do
Right,
whatever they tell you to do. Um,
right.
um, you get a nice hot bath, and
Mhm.
um, goblin maids tell you that the physician assigned, the goblin physician Tegrand is waiting for you in the parlor downstairs, uh,
Sure.
and um, so you dress. The bath feels really good,
Mm.
um, and
Yeah, I just dress in my normal comfortable clothes, um, town clothes.
you go down. They've got hot beverages for you, and so on. He examines you, um, takes a horn and listens to your chest, and says, "It's the yellowing of the eyes that concern him. He's never seen anything that does that before. That didn't ultimately wind up in death, but
Well,
never with. Usually, it's after an abdominal wound, you can see some yellowing of the eyes,
hmm.
and So he brings you, he applies a poultice to your throat, just a salve. Um, tells you to take rest, drink hot beverages. Um, tells you to avoid any
Adventuring.
tells you to avoid any root vegetables as
Oh,
they
okay.
bring the chill of the earth with them. And
Sure.
um,
This is one of those things that's really hard to role play when you're like all these
yeah,
like yeah,
modern, yeah.
yeah. Okay, sure, yeah. Gotcha. Hmm.
Um,
And I'll make sure to, yeah, say a prayer every time I use the bathroom.
um, so he says he'll check on you tomorrow, but summon him, of course, if anything changes.
Right. Don't you have a spell for like remove disease? I
Do you?
don't know.
Uh,
Cleans cleans the camp or destroys diseases and curses in the area. I guess that's not the same though.
right, affects the terrain, not what you bring with you.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'll use this as an opportunity. Yesterday was a lot. I'll use this as an opportunity today just to chillax. I'm just gonna rest, do some reading, and I've got that important lunch. So, oh, and also, I mean, if Adabir, might need me to crack open those tomes for him too. So,
Yeah, you get summoned pretty early to do that. Um,
cough all over Adabir.
that's right. Couldn't wear a mask. Vulnerable population. Um,
Wear masks and Nargas around these parts.
um, so yeah, you open them.
I'm kind of, I would ask a couple questions to him. It's like, I guess this is going to be a long process. You study this a lot to these tomes. And I point out the one tome that actually is like a tome of holding.
Oh no, they're both tomes of holding.
Oh, okay. So
You
he
must not have gone far enough in the first one.
he knows. Okay. Well, good. You know. You know more.
Well, we're not looking to study everything about the tome.
Right.
What we want to know, we're going to spend our attention on very specific spells as they relate to the draining of Kralum's power.
Okay.
Secondarily, we'll look for ways of freeing him.
Right.
And then, if we can modify the spell that drains him, then perhaps we can end her spell and then create one of our own. And maybe it would be lesser. By definition, it would almost have to be. She probably had years to study this and write this spell. But it could still begin taking power from both of them and granting it to us so that we can then cast a more powerful spell and so on and so forth.
Right.
So first will be to catalog everything and write brief descriptions. Then we'll form study priorities.
Okay.
And so he turns immediately to the books and just sort of silently just dismisses you.
Yeah. So one concern I have is I want to know how I can give Plesh and Farinar access to this tome, both these books. It doesn't seem likely, though.
Yeah, that's a stretch. I mean, now arguably, they don't need it. They're going to go and summon
True.
those
They have their own
creatures,
ideas, right?
and then
Oh, but I mean, Plesh could see my memory. I did, glance through them.
That is possible that his arts could take that knowledge.
So that's what I'm thinking. If it's possible, I can meet with them at some point.
Sure.
Um,
The
so I need,
how and where of that, of
that's
course.
a good question. I need to remember they know about the spot where they can meet. But yeah, there's no way to like arrange a meeting with them. So I guess the only thing is if the Eagles approach me, I would just try to tell them that there are advancements in, on my end, and if I could relay that to any of them, then that would be useful. So I'll write that down to when I see the Eagles next.
You just write a message and just give it to the plumpiest, juiciest pigeon you can. Let it out into the air. And then
And see what happens.
that's right. Um, so, um, yeah, so you just sort of spend your time trying to read. You find yourself nodding off.
Mm.
Um, you don't get a lot done. And eventually you have the staff, tell, I've got to be awake before noon, and I'm nodding
Right.
off.
Right.
So, um, um, while you're awake and so on, you always take the bow out so long as you're with it and have some privacy, right?
Right. Sure.
And as you take it out, it says, "I fear you're being spied upon." There was a rat following you back to your rooms. I could smell it even through your magical bag.
Wow. um, yeah. I just tell him not to, again, I don't want to give him too much information. Just tell him not to worry. That rat is a familiar of sorts, or not. Well, not a familiar, but an ally of sorts here at the keep.
Well, good. So yeah, you manage to stay awake. There's a knock at your door, regardless, right? They don't know that you're awake, and you.
Of
What are you
course,
gonna
they have spies. I mean, what?
What are you gonna take with you to the meeting?
Um, that's a good question. Um, shouldn't need anything for like defense. I'm safe. Don't need. Oh, do I want to take any like potions? Maybe. I don't think so. I think just myself should be fine. I don't think.
Are you gonna So the bow then you're gonna put in the bag of holding and just take with you?
Oh yeah. I didn't think. I guess I don't want to leave it unattended in my room. I mean, I was going to leave all my stuff here anyway, if it's just in the keep, but because the bag of holding can like fit like at my belt, or
Well, until it like when it's so it is
does
whatever
distend. Yeah,
right, it distends to whatever portion it is full as a bag of holding.
right. Mine is decently full too. So no, I mean, I would put in the bag of holding and leave it here in
Okay.
the room. Now, one thing we haven't done. I need to do a holy lock on my door. Kind of assumed I would have, but why don't we just do it now, just to make
Sure.
sure it's there for sure. So because mine I think expired a couple of days ago.
If you're going to do that, should you leave the bow out?
True, good idea. Then if anyone
Okay.
walks in, they'll be able to see.
So you hang it and tell him you'll be back. And
Okay. And then I'll go out the door and do a holy lock at level 15.
all right, so roll her up. We're going to have you concentrate a while because you are not feeling good. So
Yeah. So concentrate. 77.
great. So it cost you only 14 exhaustion.
Okay. Actually, do you remember, am I casting that from a tome or?
Oh, that's true. Well, it doesn't matter. It would still.
Well, right, but I was going to do PowerPoints.
Right. If you're going to add PowerPoints to it, then.
Oh, no, that's from Fate's Obstacles. That one I've memorized. So that one I do fully for my PowerPoints. So. Nice. Do. Okay.
All right. So you head to the, what's the color of the door? Is it the red door?
Green door.
Green door.
Good thing I'm colorblind. The wrong color. There's like 7 doors, all different colors. Oh.
So you go and you've seen the green door before. I think she asked you if you knew your way, and I think you.
Yeah, go around through the back through the green door.
Right, and so as you approach it, it says above it. It says keeps larder. And so you just tell the guard, that you have an appointment. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, she said just that I'm looking for her, Faldra. I need to see Faldra.
He looks you up and down. Roll for me.
93.
That was so weird. He grips your arm very tightly, and he says, she wouldn't be asking to see you this way unless she didn't already have some faith in you. You keep what you're about to see buttoned up, all right?
Of course. Please unhand me.
There's a sense of tremendous loyalty from him.
Okay.
And so he looks around and makes sure not being overly watched, and opens the door. There are people in there. They're gathering food for the various meals being prepared for lunch. There's hanging herbs. There's enormous just wheels of cheese, not quite as large as a wagon wheel. There's toward the back, there's great barrels of wine and ale. And you go through, and he comes to one of these great, it's taller than you, right? These great kegs of ale with the top facing out. There's a tap in it. And he reaches beside the on the far side of this giant barrel, and then the barrel's top opens and swings open, and there is inside, the actual barrel, and then there is another door.
Oh, cool.
and he just gestures and he shuts the door, and you can hear him walk away, and you're like shocked at how well you can hear everything going on outside.
Yeah.
So like you put your ear to this keg, door. And like, there's got to be magic. It doesn't feel muffled at all. If anything, it feels enhanced, where you can tell if someone's walking by and all this. And in examining it, you find little peepholes where you can see out the side, you can see out the front, you can see who's coming and going,
Oh,
so you
wow.
know when it's safe to open. You turn your attention to the other door. It is also green. It's on the side of the keg, on the wall of the keg. It's not at the back.
Right.
Um, um, you open it, I assume,
Yeah.
and it leads down, even though you've heard repeatedly that Faldrum's tower is one of the taller towers.
Right.
Um,
I'm like sick. I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to deal with this
I know.
magic illusion nonsense.
That's right.
I'll start heading down. I don't have any reason to not to.
And there is a shimmering portal at the bottom of the stairs.
Wow.
It looks like a green liquid that is swirling in a pool, What would you like to do?
Can I like see through the portal? Or
No.
Opaque. I'll stick my face through it so I can see what it is first on the other side.
You stick your face through. Fraldrum is standing, looking up at you. You're considerably taller than her.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I don't see how such caution would have prevented me from cutting it off. Gestures for you to come in, turns and walks off.
Whatever. And I just say, well, at least there wasn't a bottomless pit on the other side. I'll step through it.
It's very breezy, very well lit sitting area. And you're like, well, this can't be underground. Clear the portal took me somewhere. There's frankly too much sunlight for it to be, the lower reaches of the castle at all. It would just be the shade cast by the walls and the hills and the mountainside. And you walk in, and you're clearly on the ground floor of some large woodland cottage.
Oh, wow. Well, this is extremely cozy. I guess you have different ways of getting around the keep wherever you want.
One of the few who has such a privilege. You and your rat being another example of that. She gestures for you to sit.
Yeah.
She says, you're ill. Tagrin's got a poultice on you, huh?
Yeah, he's done what he can. Just a normal sickness, it seems. Nothing to worry about, I think. Obi-Wan, this is Fraldrum, the chief wizard under Miagral, who is asking me about kind of the real purpose of this. She definitely knows something more is going on with Adabir's research. So invited me to kind of discuss it at my leisure.
Well, she specifically, of course, does not trust this rat that's been moving around.
Yeah, that's true. Specifically that. It's alerted to her to everything.
So,
yeah, I just tell her I've been, taking it easy. It's not luckily the keep is pretty well appointed.
Right. I was working on a caption here.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So she pours tea.
It was the same person, Fraldrum. And I get this impression that she's, is honest and is a good, kind-hearted person, but she's just very firm and very loyal to me. Understands that her position's at risk if she lets things slide by. So
there we go.
Oh, whoa! Warning! Fraldrum is a female toad. That's really silly and kind of distracting, but I guess
that's weird. That's a new feature. I didn't notice that I was typing in that as opposed to something else.
Right.
What can I do here? Weird.
He just put like the Karandrin stock market.
Oh my gosh, that is so.
Oceans are up 15%, but tomes are down.
That's right. That would be funny. Mithril continues to rise.
Dragon destroys half the nation's wealth.
That's right.
Investors are displeased.
Oh my goodness. She sets these thick pork sandwiches in front of you, slathered with butter. There's hot soups, and she just sort of has them on this rolling tray, and it's a rolling table, and she just pushes it towards you. She takes the sandwich and she dips it into her soup, and she says, "It's time we talked about your rat."
Yes. So I think the way we want to do this, like we mentioned, is giving out how much information we can, all at once, right? Instead of like piece by piece. Now, I guess my gut feeling for Fraldrum, right? She is kind of kind-hearted. She is kind of on my side. She's definitely concerned for my safety. So my instinct is to tell her everything about Kralum and like the mission, but then not bring up Verilag. Do you maybe see a problem with that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, the degree to which you trust her is the degree to which, you can spill your beans, right?
Right. I'm just trying to remember my character's impression of her, and I think I had a pretty decent, she's not someone I want to, she would definitely be a useful.
She's definitely, I mean, there is a sense about her that, that you feel like you can definitely trust her.
Right. She knows what she's doing, and she isn't, look like Tegriv. She isn't kind of looking for power or some kind of other ulterior motive.
Right.
So I think, so we'll just say I'll tell her about, Kralum and the volcano, and about Adabir's true plan, to siphon power and then eventually, hopefully, free Kralum by breaking his bonds that'll send him back to his world, and just not mention Verilag at all. Which it might come up eventually, but just see what.
Yeah, for the here and now.
Yeah.
Let me see. All right. So, um, hmm. You're certain that Kralum is a Adabir is certain that Kralum is a realm lord?
Yes, that is. Wait, she asking that is Adabir certain
That
that
Kralum is as
because I
powerful.
know he is a realm lord. I say yes, I know he is a realm lord. And Adabir is also certain.
And you two thought it would be fine to have the eyes and ears of a realm lord inside of the noble keep.
I tell her I don't see what other choice we had. We need resources to carry this out. This was who was available. Um,
My understanding of these creatures, child, is that they are of enormous power. They forget nothing. How many lives have you laid bare? Secret desires, plans. How many souls have you exposed to this evil of evils?
I would tell her that this this is a rare case. This demon wants nothing more than to be free, back in his back in his realm. He has no designs to spread his influence. You know, he cannot. Um, is for all purposes. You know.
Now, now, perhaps, but in the future, should he be able to free himself? He's been here for days. I can forgive you. You're young. There's no way to know, and you are certainly no match for the wiles of a realm lord. But Adabir?
Mm. Perhaps you should have brought Crown to this meeting. That would have been interesting. Oh well. I tell her that it's possible to arrange a meeting with Crown. You know, in his form, I can always bring him around in my pocket, if need be. And he has, well, I won't say that. It's fine.
She barely hears you. She's looking at disgust at the floor. If you think back on the things he's accomplished, even as a rat, you've been surprised, haven't you?
Indeed.
Think what promises he could make to Lady Miagral's chambermaid. You can hear him now, can't you? It's just a dagger. She's lived a long life. The things I can promise you. How many deals do you think he has inside the keep now? How many relationships? How many promises?
All I can say is that right now we are his. How do I word that? Whatever promises he's made are, you know, I don't know how to word it. I want to say that, we're his best bet, basically, Adabir and his
Your
research. So,
salvation.
yeah, yeah, we're yeah. I mean, to him, we're his salvation. I don't see what benefit or why he would go about destroying Miagral's influence.
I throw it out only as an example. Do you
Okay.
think he would hesitate to do so if it would further the chance of him being freed?
Silent on that. I do think so.
You are the best option he has that you know of.
I could, what if I present, if this all goes according to plan, Lady Mirgral, well, no, because she doesn't know about it. Never mind, it's not a good idea. I was going to say, like, Lady Mirgral can take the fame for sending this demon back to his realm, but she is also not aware of the plan, so that wouldn't really work out. So instead, I'll say to her, I mean, what we're doing here is could, save many, many lives, prevent this demon from having influence in this world. We're working with what we have.
Without knowing the web of deals that Kralum has made since the moment you met him, it's impossible to know to what degree his influence will or will not be contained after he's freed.
That's an interesting point.
How do you know that he hasn't already passed to a dozen spellcasters the rites and rituals needed to summon him, to make contact with him? Why should he not? Do you think him leaving this world means he doesn't still have designs on it? He is, I grant you, as small as a match, as small as a piece of tinder, which wouldn't be of concern to us, except our whole world is straw.
That's a good analogy. Okay. Now I might have to bring up Verilag to try to convince her there is no other option. That sending him back to his world is actually killing two birds with one stone. So, Yeah, because she's not convinced. So okay, so then I'll.
Well, what is she not convinced about?
I mean, she seems like I don't know. Okay, then I'll wait. I'll wait.
Well, no, I mean, you said she's not convinced, and I'm trying to figure out what she's
Not
not
convinced that this mission. I mean, that we should continue operating this way. It seems like she's going to.
Well, right now, I mean, the only thing she's alarmed at that she's revealed to you is the presence of Kralum inside of a noblewoman's
I,
castle.
I guess I'm jumping ahead. So, but I just shrug and I guess I'm silent. I don't have any other words to persuade her. More information.
It's clear that however Kralum possesses creatures, it is beyond my ability to shield the keep from it. The spells do not read him as a familiar. They do not read him even necessarily as sentient. You have seen him practice no magical feats, nothing that couldn't be explained by his diminutive size.
No, he even, he does struggle to. Yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he is just a creature with sentience.
Maybe
and,
in that,
and it can only remain that way.
maybe in that he is being truthful then. And you told her about the prison, is that right? Or not?
Yeah, I would have.
Have you told her about your access to the prison?
No. Let's say no. We know that he's being kept there, and that's what the searching that out. But I won't tell her that I've been there.
Does he know anything about how he came to be trapped there?
Yeah, I should say. I guess I should answer truthfully because she could eventually talk to Crown himself. So I'll say yes. He knows he was, fooled by some powerful sorcerer into being trapped there a long time ago.
How long? Is it any chance that this sorcerer still lives? I ask because if they can track Kralum, they will track him here to my keep, to my charges that I've been sworn to protect.
I'll say, answer truthfully, 5,000 years ago. Try to keep my face steady.
Well, that is something. Usually the enchantments would die with the enchanter. Although there are great arts that prevent that from happening. So you seek to free Kralum, even though he's safely chained away.
I'd say it seems like the right thing to do to rid the world of this this evil.
He's trapped and well hidden. The defenses around him, even to be able to get to him, must be enormous. One doesn't trap a lion and use a flimsy cage.
Well, you know, and well, I don't want to like say anything that'll kind of reveal me. So I guess I'll just be quiet. I mean, but he still, you know, he still lingers. He's still a great evil here. Like, I mean, like you said, he still has influence somehow over these creatures. If that influence were to grow and you become more dangerous, sending him back to his realm seems like the only something more permanent.
I'm trying to think what she thinks about.
I know there's some open holes. I don't know if she'll let me go without addressing them.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's not everything you've said adds up, but
Right.
that can be explained by youth
Right.
or
Right.
by the fact that Adabir is pulling the strings and just hasn't told you everything, and that's why your answers don't make sense.
Right. I'm kind of like edging towards the door, like ready to go. I really gotta get going.
That's right. You don't think that Adabir is simply delaying any plan to release Kralum so that he can try his experiments on them?
I say I think he is, which is why also Plesh Falrenar have I trust them too. I and I'll say I think he was clearly lying when he said they were spies as well for Mirgral. I think he is a little too concerned with his research.
Cora Kyle is not at all happy that Adabir took that approach. I can tell you. It was all I could do to get him to withdraw his troops from harassing the keep. He speaks very highly of Plesh and Falramar. You have put me in an impossible position. Was Adabir's experiments with lengthening Miagral's life, was it going to be hinged upon drawing power from this demon?
That's a good question. Do I know that or no?
I think
I feel like he was
I think he'd be happy if that was one of the outcomes he came across.
right.
I don't know that's the only
Yeah, not
avenue he's
okay. Yeah,
pursuing.
I would word it like that. Well, you know, not hinged, but it is possibly an outcome he was hoping for.
unproven, unholy magics tested on an aging noblewoman.
I would interject saying he did plan to test it thoroughly beforehand, including on himself. I think he knows, his place with respect to Mia Grawl.
Tested on himself. How generous. What is the next step in Adabir's plan?
He is continuing to research
Things.
things. I mean, yeah, I'll play it off. I mean, like just being a dumb 16-year-old. It's like I think he's checking out the runes that are supposedly on the chains and manacles that bind Crowlem throughout his prison, researching his prison more thoroughly.
Why did this ancient sorcerer trap Krylum to begin with? I mean, the logical answer would be power, whether that be knowledge or direct power. What has Krylum said about the motives of this ancient sorcerer?
I mean, I'd say that implies that they were a ruler, or that they.
But
I'm
what
not
were
really
they
sure.
seeking out of Krylum? Why capture him at all?
I'm not sure I even understand the question. I would just say a shrug. I thought all sorcerers seek power from demons, right?
You mean to take it directly from him? To drain him of power?
Sure. That right. So I'll say that. It's like, yes, that's what I, inferred.
Do I have? I don't.
Man, she is grilling me. Whew.
Wow, she's trying to figure things out.
I know, yeah. I was gonna say maybe like 6 more minutes, and we can maybe call it the meeting is continuing to go on, or
Yes, yeah. So, we could end it after this moment, really. I mean, she stands and she picks up her rod, and she just seems to loom above you. And she says, if the sorcerer had died, then there's no place for Krylum's power to go, which means that he could free himself. You have lied to me.
No. Tell that I believe the prison itself is made so that it drains him of his power.
The power must go somewhere. Adabir never mentioned that it would be the best plan to find where this power is going. You destroy that, the power returns to Krylum. The drain no longer has a vessel to fill. He can then tear free of his either you have lied to me or he has lied to you. Does Adabir already have this power? Is he sitting now in the court of my charges that I am sworn to protect, with part of the power of a realm lord at his disposal, thinking he can control it?
Yes. No. Okay. Yeah, she is still really breathing down my neck.
You are a good person. I sensed that upon our first meeting. Do not make me do bad things to a good person to protect lives. That power is going somewhere. So either he knows where it's going, he is where it's going, or most terrifyingly, it's going to a whom.
Yeah, it's gonna be that third one. Well, sounds like I will have to have no choice but to bring up Verilag, I think.
Well, do you want to keep playing, or do you want to?
Yeah, I think we can call it a night here, and we'll
Quite
come
the
back
cliffhanger.
next time to kind of the second half of the discussion, which is, the sorcerer's Verilag, and
You'll
hopefully
have a week to figure out an answer.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I mean, it's like we said, it's just these people are so smart and so knowledgeable in these arts. They can tell,
They can see the holes that we didn't even know existed.
right. I didn't even think about that. It's true. I mean, I thought like, yeah, okay, he's in prison. It doesn't matter who imprisoned him or why if they're still around. But yeah, to her, that's a big
Right.
open question. So let me write that down. Pose the question. Where is Kralum's power going? It's going to my Bitcoin machine. Mining operation.
That's it.
Okay. Well, yeah, kind of an intense ending there, but
Yeah, that's pretty scary. Yeah, pretty messed up. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out with us for episode 52. We look forward to bringing you more. Next week, I believe, is free and good.
yes.
And so, so thanks as always for hanging out with us for another episode. You can find Max on YouTube, where he talks about video games, music, and arrangements and original soundtracks. Thanks as always to Elliot Denovitz for Brise's character art that we use every session. And you can find more of her work at artstation.com/Tortolua. And I've written a book that I find enjoyable. And so if you want to hop to YouTube and take a look, you can see the link right there and type it in, and it'll take you there. That's also in the descriptions. And you can also hop to donorbox.org and donate to us and help us upgrade and things like that if you like what we're doing. But again, thanks to everybody. Max, say goodbye to these lovely people.
All right, everybody, have a good night. I swear next week I won't be sick. It'll be much more exciting.
I don't know. It's pretty exciting, just the conversations.
Well, I'm glad you think so. But yeah,
certainly tense.
Can't wait to see y'all next week and see how things play out.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. So, all right, gang. Well, thank you. We'll see you next week for episode 53. Take care, and we really appreciate you.